Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates, presented by the Dallas Examiner. I'm Molly Finch Belt, publisher of the Dallas Examiner. The Dallas Examiner has presented Monday Night Politics for over 12 consecutive years prior to elections. The Dallas Examiner does not endorse candidates. We seek to inform the community so that when they go to the polls, they are informed voters. All candidates who provide their email addresses on their applications when they file for office are invited to participate in Monday Night Politics. Monday Night Politics is not a debate, it's a forum designed to inform the community about the candidates' qualifications, their platform, etc. We could not present Monday Night Politics without our sponsors, who are nonprofit organizations, and they do not endorse either. In addition to Monday Night Politics, our website, www.dallasexaminer.com, has a section for voter education. Here you'll find current information about voting. Visit www.dallasexaminer.com. I would be remiss if I didn't mention two people who have worked with Monday Night Politics Meet the Candidates behind the scenes for over 12 years. The first person is Robin Jimenez, Vice President of Production and Editorial at the Dallas Examiner. The other person is Christy Thomas, Monday Night Politics Advisory Committee. We are happy tonight to have as our moderator Charles O'Neill. Charles is president of the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce, and he was the first editor for the Dallas Examiner when the newspaper was founded by my father in 1986. Thank you for attending the forum tonight.
And welcome back to Monday Night Politics. We have a slate of judicial races on tonight's calendar. And tonight we are speaking with candidates for Dallas County Court at Law number 3, the incumbent, Judge Sally Montgomery, and her challenger, Misty Mosteller. So thank you so much for you both being here tonight. As we've noted, we have 2 minutes for opening statements. I've asked other candidates if they would kind of inform the public about just what it is that your court does. And so we'll start with the incumbent, Judge Montgomery, to the mic. 2 minutes for your opening statement.
Okay, but I got it. I'm the short. Good evening. I'm Judge Sally Montgomery. I'm judge of County Court at Law number 3. It is a civil jurisdiction court of unlimited jurisdiction. We are the county courts that have the highest jurisdiction in Texas. So I can do anything from a multi-billion-dollar business case to a medical malpractice case to an eviction case to a debt collection case. And I've been doing this longer than anyone else. I am the, if you look at my record, the least reversed of judges with similar years of experience, 10 and up, in the county, and always have been from the beginning. As a little background, I am a single mother with a very expensive college student, and he is just, for the first time, has his first girlfriend, just as a little personal thing. I'm real excited. Anyway, I was a former school teacher before with the Dallas Independent School District and was put up for Teacher of the Year. And I say this, and I also had 3 science degrees, 2 from SMU, was a teaching fellow at SMU, got accepted to med school, got a 4.0 at North Texas and a master's of science. And I say all of this because I took my classroom experience into the courtroom, where everybody has a turn getting to talk, nobody gets to interrupt. They get to confer a lot. I was the chairman of the committee that helped sponsor the law where attorneys can be ordered to mediation by judges. And I do that in all my cases in order to save money and expense for the parties. I am very conscious of people. I make sure that they have a translator if they need it, or they have attorneys to help them if they need it. I've got a bunch of volunteer attorneys. And as a result of this, I have been endorsed by 150, I think more than any other judge, attorneys.
We'll be back. Thank you so much, Ms. Mosteller.
Thank you for this opportunity. My opponent is a little confused about her reversal record. In fact, as far back as 2006, she was pronounced one of the most reversed judges in Texas, and in fact has an 80% reversal rate. I think it may be due to some funny math. But I'm here to clear things up. If you'll allow me to introduce myself, I'm Misty Mosteller, and I'm running for judge at County Court at Law Number 3. I grew up in Oak Cliff at Camp Wisdom in Polk. I was raised by a single mother who had to work 2 jobs so that we could survive. She worked nights at Redbird Mall selling china. I learned at an early age that everybody's not treated the same and the world isn't fair. And I'm running for judge because win or lose, when you leave a courtroom, you should feel like you were seen and you were heard and you were treated with respect. And though the world isn't fair, our courts should be. I am a practicing civil litigation attorney. I've been practicing for 22 years with DeHay and Elliston. I became a partner in 2008. I'm a certified mediator. I practice in 3 different states. I'm licensed to practice in Texas, Oklahoma, Michigan, and I do practice in all 3 states. I have tried cases in Dallas County, Bexar County, Tarrant County. I have managed hundreds of thousands of cases all over the great state of Texas, as well as Oklahoma and Michigan. I am qualified to do this job. I am a supporter of the AKAs. I have partnered with them in working, serving at the Hunger Busters, which is a great organization helping kids that have food insecurities, giving them meals. I have supported the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, its scholarships. I have supported the IMA. I am a part of this community. I am here not because I'm running for a campaign. I have always been here. And I will always be the kind of judge that looks out and sees individual people for who they are, their life experiences, and what brought them into that court. Thank you.
Ms. Mosteller, will you, justice is blind, so it said. How will your election to county court at law change the way justice is administered in that court?
Well, first of all, I don't think justice is blind. I wish that it was. Although one of my goals is to eradicate bias on the bench, and I don't think that's how we go about it is by saying we don't see color, we don't see differences in people. I think it's by saying we do see those things. I do see your differences. Because when I do that, I acknowledge your life experience as a person with black skin or brown skin or someone with a disability. And those things are part of the story that is happening in front of you in the courtroom. And so it's not something that should be dismissed or ignored. It's part of the account. It's part of the whole process. And as a judge, I will always be on guard for my own internal biases because, if you can't tell, I am a middle-aged white woman. That's just the lot I was given. And so I have to always be thinking about what's going through my head and check my own biases. And I'm going to make sure that the people in my courtroom that are working with me reflect the makeup of our community. And I want to make sure we all are always thinking, how can we be more fair? How can we be more understanding? And how can that lift people up that are in this difficult process of litigation? Because litigation, now it's not like criminal, obviously, but it is a very stressful, expensive endeavor. And I want to make sure that we are looking at it from all sides, all angles, and making sure everybody is treated fairly, respectfully, period.
Thank you so much. Judge Benson, Judge Montgomery, how will your being returned to the bench ensure that the public is served in the best way?
I do not know where my opponent came up with her reversal rate in my court because the appellate attorneys have done a complete study at my request of my reversal rate. And I am the least reversed of all the judges based on all the official court records in the appellate court as well as district and county court. So I don't need to work on the law since I already have it down the best. I have been investigated for turning my cases so fast. It's like, how did you do that? It's the way I lined up my jury trials. So I don't know anyone else who's had that wonderful compliment, actually, by the county commissioners. I have had the fewest, probably, evictions of any judge because of my experience. I wrote the law used statewide on ethics and landlord-tenant law. And so as a result, with the resources I'm familiar with, I don't think I evicted anybody for failure to pay rent in the last 2 years of the pandemic. They know they're fairly heard. I treat them the same, and they don't get evicted. So, and the landlords want to give me flowers because they actually get their money. So it's a win-win for everybody. The attorneys really like me. It's both sides equally, plaintiff and defense, as well as appellate attorneys that practice in my court because they know they're going to be treated fairly and that I know the law and they're not going to waste their time in the appellate court. So I know there was a borough poll I didn't do very well on originally because I was the first woman judge, and as a result, I had a little problem with some of the guys. I was also pregnant, which was scandalous, and that's why I had this study done at my request by prominent attorneys who found out I was the least reversed. I had jury questionnaires and was granted excellent in everything from competence to attentiveness to patience to fairness, and so there's nothing, no attorney's ever asked me to change. Thank you.
The question we've asked the question we've asked all of our judicial candidates is your opinion, if you will, on whether or not judges are elected or appointed, something that has come up recently in the Texas legislature.
You should have known. Mm-hmm. I love that question. I actually had a national book agent and was going to write a book on that, did lots of research, still scattered all over my office, on the difference in appointed versus elected judges, as well as those that got appointed for a while and then ran for retention. And after all this research and having an author, I decided that being elected in the first place was best because the people who care the most are those who actually generally attend either the Democrat or the Republican parties and get to hear the judges converse. And so I'm very much for the election of judges. I ended up not doing the book, and I had some issues that occurred with me early on, being one of the first women back when women were suing to become partners in law firms, that made me want to look into this, and I did. I also looked into the bar poll. And the bar poll is sometimes accurate and sometimes not. So as a result of the study done on me, there's an 18-page report with footnotes on my website under issues that talks about my reversal rate, the bar poll, and how sometimes it tracks and sometimes it doesn't track. And in my case, with all the years of jury questionnaires where the jurors got to answer the questions of those 6 categories I referenced before, getting excellent in every one of those, I got on the Judiciary Committee for the Dallas Bar, along with some others, to give them some ideas on how to fix it. They didn't fix it, so there are 5 resolutions also on that webpage with the Dallas Trial Lawyers, Mesquite Bar, Irving Bar, Grand Prairie Bar, and North Dallas Bar Associations against the bar poll for it not using accurate information. Not that it's always wrong, and I do think we need something, and I'm going to be talking to the trial lawyers, the American Board of Trial Advocates, after this experience on the bar poll and the way it's being used so that we can hopefully get it fixed through those associations.
Thank you very much. Your thoughts on elected versus appointed judges?
My thoughts are Dallas County is a Democratic stronghold. It wasn't always that case. And so the idea of a Republican governor appointing all of the judges for Dallas County, well, I don't know about everyone out there, but it sends a shiver down my spine. I don't think that's fair when we have a party as strong as the Democrats here in Dallas, that they would be lauded over by all Republican appointed judges. I don't really think the issue so much is election versus appointed. I think there's value in people having a choice for who is going to be on their benches. I really think the issue is the money in these races, because it makes it very hard to challenge incumbents because it's very expensive, and people often don't want to upset the incumbent judges, and so they don't want to fund other candidates' races. So it's just very difficult. I really think the root of the problem is the money, but I believe that Dallas County voters should have a choice in who sits on the bench, and so I approve of election.
Very good. All right. And 2 minutes, ma'am, for closing statements.
Well, just quickly, I'll say that not only has my opponent been reversed for not applying the law many, many times, but also for improper conduct. It's just a matter of public record. Also, I can understand how 1 or 2 bad polls, maybe it's a conspiracy, maybe it's misogyny, but 20 years of bad polls, I'm sorry, but when there's a smoke, there's fire, and in this case, where there's fire, there's an inferno. But let me say that I have also been endorsed by True Blue Democrats, the Next Generation Action Network. I have been endorsed by Lake Highlands White Rock Democrats. I have been endorsed by the Texas County Tejano Democrats, as well as the Texas Democrats with Disabilities. Now, speaking of endorsements, my opponent did falsely state that she was endorsed by the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance. Now, that is a group of over 250 churches. It is also a nonprofit. They do not endorse, they cannot endorse. And so that statement, which was not true, which is bad enough, but also it jeopardized potentially the good work of this nonprofit organization. And so, side note to that, though, the president of the IMA, Pastor David Wilson, has told me personally he supports me, he's voting for me, as well as Pastor Marcus King, Minister Dominique Alexander, Pastor Nash, and I am endorsed by real people. I am funded by real grassroots people, people who believe in me and want to see a change on this bench, not by big, rich law firms that have a deep investment in keeping my opponent on the bench because it serves their needs. Thank you.
Thank you. And Judge Montgomery, 2 minutes for a closing statement.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I have never stated that the IMA endorsed me. You won't see it on any of my literature. It was on my opponent's, what she was paying for at that particular convention where she said they endorsed her. So it's just the opposite. In the meantime, I will say I was invested on this bench by Dr. Don Campbell, president of Dallas Theological Seminary, assisted by Tony Evans of Oak Cliff Baptist Church, Bible Church. And I'm very proud of that. I have had equal numbers of plaintiffs and defense attorneys fund my campaign as well as endorse my campaign. And I have way more endorsements than my opponent. Everything from the 23rd Senatorial Tejanos, Stonewall Democrats, and you can tell who's behind all these, the different organizations, Mexican American Bar Association, President Hall of Democrats, the Teamsters, as well as East Dallas County Democrats, and many appellate attorneys, as well as the president of all the bar associations. I didn't ask for those endorsements. They called me up and asked to endorse me. My opponent says that she's tried these cases. She has never appeared, and everything I've said about my reversals is a matter of public record. My opponent has never tried a case in Dallas County. She's never been in my court. She's never filed a case in Dallas County. She has never responded to a case in Dallas County. She's done some pre-suit depositions only. That is, she has no experience in Dallas County whatsoever. So I'm asking for your support again. I am the judge with experience that had the fastest docket for a while. Pandemic has slowed us up, and I have the experience once this is over to get things moving again because I did it before. And I do it very fairly and accurately. Otherwise, go look at my website, www.sallymontgomery.com, see the report from the attorneys as well as all my endorsements. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Candidates for Dallas County Court at Law, Challenger Misty Mosteller, and incumbent Judge Sally Montgomery. Thank you so much. We'll be back with you shortly with candidates for Dallas County Court at Law number 4. Thank you.